In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world.
What is Plan B for trade policy?
I'll tell you, the White House is always preparing for Plan B. It would be imprudent of the president's advisors not to prepare for such a situation.
November 5th, 2025. The day has arrived when Trump's tariffs will face the high-stakes Supreme Court test. But ahead of the U.S. top court hearing, the White House has spilled the big news in case things go south and not Trump's way. During the press briefing on November 4th, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt stated that while the administration is ready for any scenario, it also remained assured of the strength of Trump and his legal team's arguments. The White House is always preparing for Plan B. It would be imprudent of the president's advisors not to prepare for such a situation, Leavitt said during the briefing. To add to that, Leavitt also warned that the case against Trump has implications beyond his presidency, highlighting the future use of emergency tariff powers. She added that Trump sees economic security as tightly linked to national security. Ahead of the hearing on November 4th, President Trump took to Truth Social and termed the case as the most critical to America's future and its global economic status. POTUS even compared the case to a life-or-death situation for the country. Tomorrow's United States Supreme Court case is, literally, life or death for our country, Trump wrote on Truth Social. Trump believes that if the court's verdict doesn't come in favor of his tariffs, the U.S. will be defenseless against other countries who have, for years, taken advantage of it. Meanwhile, in an interview with Fox News, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirmed that he will attend the hearing in person and will closely follow the discussion. The U.S. Supreme Court will examine the legality of tariffs that affect foreign imports and are a key part of Trump's economic strategy. The outcome could have a major impact on Trump's Liberation Day tariffs and the U.S.'s global trade policy. According to a note by the Global Trade Research Initiative, if the Supreme Court rules against Trump, it could force the administration to withdraw tariffs imposed under the EPA. Trump has already used those emergency powers to increase import tariffs up to 50% on major trade partners like India and Brazil, and as high as 145% on Chinese goods earlier this year. But Leavitt argued that the tariffs help facilitate peace deals, resolve conflicts, and attract investments, contributing to an estimated $600 billion deficit reduction this year during the presser.
Big day in the Supreme Court tomorrow with President Trump's tariff policy facing a legal challenge. What's at stake with that case? And if the Supreme Court rules against the Trump administration, what is Plan B for trade policy?
I'll tell you, the White House is always preparing for Plan B. It would be imprudent of the president's advisors not to prepare for such a situation. With that said, we are 100% confident in the president and his team's legal arguments in the merits of the law in this case, and we remain optimistic that the Supreme Court is going to do the right thing. The importance of this case cannot be overstated. The president must have the emergency authority to utilize tariffs. Look at what President Trump has been able to do with the leverage and the power of tariffs. He's been able to sign peace deals all over the world and end global conflicts and literally save lives. He's been able to bring in trillions of dollars of investments into our country. In fact, this year alone, we are going to cut the deficit by $600 billion, namely because of the president's effective use of tariffs. And the president strongly believes that economic security is a matter of national security, and tariffs have a lot to do with that. And this case is not just about President Trump. It's about the use of this emergency authorization for tariffs for future presidents and administrations to come, and we're confident and hopeful that the Supreme Court will do the right thing. Kristen.
Why did President Trump get an MRI during his recent visit to Wall Street?
Look, as President Trump said, he would inquire with the physicians. I'll check back on that. But as the physical itself stated, Kristen, and as you all know, because you are all witness to it every single day, the president is in optimal physical health. This was a follow-up appointment, and we provided a detailed readout of that physical. I'm happy to give it to you again, and I can inquire further.
With all due respect, an MRI is a very specific procedure. It's done on a part of the body looking for something specific, so it's not generally part of any kind of routine checkup. And in addition, President Trump has said that he wants to be transparent. He told us to ask the doctors, which we have and have not heard back. Why don't we have more information on this?
As I said, I'll check back for you. Go ahead.
Caroline, can you update us on the mediation efforts this administration is leading in Sudan, trying to achieve a ceasefire there?
Sure, yes. The United States is actively engaged in efforts to bring about a peaceful resolution to the terrible conflict in Sudan. We remain committed to working with our international partners, including Quad members, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, as well as others, to lead a negotiated peace process that addresses both the immediate humanitarian crisis and the longer-term political challenges. I actually spoke with Secretary Rubio about this morning, as of course there's been, kind of an uptick in recent reporting on the matter, and he assured me that the administration is very much engaged. We're in pretty frequent communication with those Arab partners that I just mentioned, and we want to see this conflict come to a peaceful end, just as we have with so many others, but the reality is it's a very complicated situation on the ground right now. Yes.
Hi, yes. Just trying to go back into the subject of Mexico. Is the Trump administration planning to send U.S. troops to Mexico to combat drug cartels, as reported by other outlets?
That's not something I would confirm from this podium if it were happening, so I will not comment on that. Eamon.
Thank you, Caroline. Why did the president decide not to go to the Supreme Court tomorrow? He had indicated earlier that he might want to go and attend in person.
Yeah.
Now he's saying he's not going to go. Why?
The president did have an interest in attending the Supreme Court hearing tomorrow, as I just expressed how important it is to him, the administration, and the country, this case. But he is traveling to Miami tomorrow, as you all know, to give an economic address with the mayor of Miami and many global business leaders to talk about his historic success with the economy over the past 10 months and talk about sort of where we are headed as a country in terms of our economy. So he'll be traveling tomorrow on the road in Miami. That's why he won't be here, but Secretary Scott Bessent will be in attendance at the hearing tomorrow at the request of the president.
He has said that he doesn't want to export the high-end NVIDIA chips to China,
correct.
but the Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that there was some question about whether the president would raise this as a possible concession with the Chinese side during his meeting with Xi Jinping. So does the White House consider NVIDIA chip exports to China to be a closed issue right now, or is this an ongoing negotiation between the United States, China, and NVIDIA at this point?
The president has made his position on this very clear, both to the Chinese and also to all of you. He's answered this question directly. As for the most advanced chips, the Blackwell chip, that's not something we're interested in selling to China at this time.